Hi class, today you're doing Module 4, Lesson 12. So in this lesson you're going to be subtracting numbers using the vertical equations and a place value chart and place value discs. So remember, vertical means up and down this way. And then the other way is horizontal. And that's side by side like this, in that direction. So if I have a horizontal equation, you might have 25 minus 11. And then you need to write it vertically, stacking up the hundreds together, the tens together, and the ones together. So if I have this equation, I'm going to put 2 in the tens place, 5 in the ones place, and then I'm going to write my subtraction sign, and then 1 in the tens place, 1 in the ones place for 11, and that line for my answer. And we subtract in the ones, tens, hundreds, just like in subtraction. So if I'm using a place value chart, I always start with my whole because that's what I'm subtracting, 25. So I'm going to draw 2 groups of 10 and then 5 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sticking with that 10 frame lineup. So you subtract in the ones, tens, hundreds. So if I have 5, I'm going to subtract 1. And I have 2 tens, I'm going to subtract 1 10. So that leaves me with 14. So the answer is 14. Okay, let's do it again. So this time your equation is going to be 22 minus 13. So that's how you write it horizontally. Now I need to rewrite it vertically. So first I write my whole, 22, 2 tens, 2 ones, then I subtract, and then I write 1 10, 3 ones for 13, my subtraction sign, and then that line for the answer. So I'm going to draw it on a place value chart. First I draw 2 tens and 2 ones. Now I'm trying to subtract 13. So you subtract in the ones, tens, hundreds. So I have 2 tens and 2 ones, and I'm trying to subtract 3 ones. As you can see, I only have 2 ones. I cannot do that. So I need to regroup or decompose. Remember in lesson 11 from yesterday, decompose means you break apart to a lower unit. So when you decompose, you get 1 10, you regroup for 10 ones. Decompose means you break apart to the lower unit. So in this case, I'm going to take my 10 and I'm going to break it apart into ones, my lower unit. 1 10, you regroup for 10 ones. Remember we said we're not going to draw 10 ones and continue this 10 frame lineup right here on the 2 ones that were already there. We're just going to do it separately on the side so we know that we regrouped. And then you circle it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I can subtract 3 in the ones place. Okay? So before I do that, I have to show what I did here. At first, I had, as you can see right here, I had 2 tens. But now when I regrouped, I only have 1 10. So I'm going to cross this off on the top, that 2, and I'm going to change that to 1. And I'm going to circle it because that's what I have now in my tens place. Now in the ones place, it shows here on my equation that I had 2, but after I regrouped, I have 10 more. So 10 plus 2 is 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross off that 2, and above it, I'm going to write a 12 and circle it. So that now my equation matches my place value discs after I regroup. So now I'm doing not 2 minus 3, I have 12 minus 3, which is what it shows in my place value chart and my equation. So 12 minus 3, 1, 2, 3. That leaves me with 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then in the ones place, I have 1, and I'm going to subtract 1, which is 0. If you have a 0 in the tens place and there's no hundred, you don't have to write a 0. Because it means, if you just leave it blank, we know that it means nothing. So your answer is 9. Okay? Let me show you that one more time. Let's say my equation is 34 minus 17. So I'm going to rewrite it my vertical way. First I'm going to write 34 because that's my whole. Then I'm going to write my subtraction sign on the side over here. Then I'm going to write 17. If you're drawing the lines to separate the tens and ones, maybe put the T and the O for tens and ones kind of above. So if you have to regroup up here like I did, you have a little bit of a gap and a space to write how you regrouped. Okay, and don't forget to stack up those ones, stack up those tens. So now I'm going to show it on my place value chart. I'm going to show 34, so 3 tens and 4 ones. I subtract in the ones, tens, hundreds. So I have 4 ones, I'm trying to subtract 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have enough, so I have to regroup. 1, 10, you regroup for 10 ones. Unbundle it or decompose to that lower unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't forget to circle it. Before you subtract, now since you regrouped, you go straight to your equation and then you cross off and show what you did over here. So I had 3 tens, I regrouped, so 3 becomes 2, and then 4 becomes 14, because 10 and 4 is 14. So now it shows what I have on my chart, on my equation. So now I can subtract 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or you can just use your finger. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 7. Okay? And then here, 2 minus 1. I actually have to subtract 1 this time, and I'm left with 1. So the answer is 17. Okay? So when you have to decompose 110 for 10 ones, what you're going to be working on today on your vertical equation, like over here, is showing how you regrouped. You cross off the 10 and you write what you have left. So it's always going to be 1 less than what you had before. And then over here, you take that number and you add 10 to it because you're adding a group of 10. So you take the ones, which in this case it was 4, and then you add 10 more, which is 14. So you cross it off, write 14 right above it, and then circle it. Okay? And then you subtract ones, tens, hundreds. So let's take a look at your problem set. Today you're doing lesson 12. So you're on lesson 12, problem set. Okay, so let's take a look at those directions. It says, number 1, use place value discs to solve each problem. Rewrite the problem vertically and record each step as shown in the example. So here you do need to do it on your place value chart with place value discs. I'm just going to draw the chart on here. So the first number was 22. And it says rewrite the problem vertically. They've already done that for you. Okay? So I have 2 tens and then 2 ones. It looks like I need to subtract 8 from the ones place and then 1 from the tens place. You subtract in the ones. Tens, hundreds. So first I need to subtract 8 ones. But I only have 2, so I need to regroup. 1, 10, you regroup for 10 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I always like to count after I draw just to make sure I have 10 ones. So I circle it. Now after they did that, I have 1 in the tens place. So you can see they crossed off the 2, wrote a 1 on top. And then they didn't circle it, but I would like you to circle that, just so you know it's there. And then the 2 becomes 12 because 10 plus 2 is 12. They crossed off the 2 and wrote 12, and then make sure you circle that up there. Now it's 12 minus 8, it's 4. 1 minus nothing is 0. So once again, don't write that 0 right there. You don't need it. Just write the 4. Okay? So make sure you use your place value chart. I should see you drawing the whole and then taking away and regrouping if you need to. Do not forget to show your regrouping on your equation right after you do it on your chart. All right, get started.